I hope it's coming across like how excited I am to like have this conversation publicly.
I'm so excited to be here. I watch all of your lives all the time, so I'm just like, yay, I get to be in one.
With that, y'all, I am super pumped. Chris and I were just talking, but I am super pumped for this conversation. For those of you that are watching and like maybe new to this group and all of these things, I will give a little brief introduction of who I am, but like the next probably like 15 or so minutes is all about this amazing entrepreneur and their amazing story. So before we jump into that, my name is Kasey Brown. I'm the founder and CEO over here at Digital Kairos. And what we do is just basically help brands grow. If you want to learn more about that, I don't know, go search it or find it somewhere. But today we are here to talk about and just hear from Chris. Chris, I don't love giving the whole intro to people. I think people should own their own intros. So before we get started though, I will just say this. I hope it's coming across like how excited I am to like have this conversation publicly. I've been like super blessed and honored to have a good number of conversations and get to know Chris and the business for some time now, but I'm super excited to just like have this conversation publicly and help more people, right? Like we were just talking about this before we jumped on around the mission. I think that both of us are aligned to is just like, how can we serve? How can we help people? And how can we continue to share our truth, be exactly who we are, especially like front of camera to, again, help people. So with that though, all of that said, Chris, thank you for joining me today.
Oh, thanks for having me, Kasey. I'm so excited. This is so fun. I just love going live with you. Lovely. Well, I am so excited to be here. I watch all of your lives all the time, so I'm just like, yay, I get to be in one. I am Chris Wright-Garcia. I am the founder of LeatherDaddy Skin Company. It is a plant-based skincare company that I started actually right when the pandemic hit. I was waiting tables for 15 years, and then the pandemic hit. I lost my job, and I was sitting there like, what do I do? I want to cry. I want to eat. I want to just yell at the world. And then I was thinking, screw it. I'm going to launch the business that I had in my head. And I just went ahead and pulled the gun, and that's where LeatherDaddy Skin Co happened, and that's what's brought me here to you lovely people.
I actually did not know. So when we say like when the pandemic hit, we mean like 2020, March-ish of 2020. Yeah. Wow. Okay. And so before we dive into the story, tell me like where we are right now. So 2020. So in 2 years, a little less than 2 years. In 2 years, we have built an awesome company. Can you give me like the highlight reel of like where we are like now, what we've done in 2 years? And then I want to dive into the past 2 years.
Yeah, well now I am in 10 stores across the country. I have like an actual following. Like there are people that recognize me whenever I go to events that are like, "Hey, LeatherDaddy!" it's so funny because it's just such a good time. But I'm actually there are tons of celebrities now who are like actually interested in like talking about my products and repping my products. So I feel like I'm just on this whirlwind of like becoming something. Like right now, and sales are like skyrocketing. Just got some really great Facebook ads working by Digital Kairos, by the way. They're helping me out. Amazing. Best time ever. And like my little Shopify thing keeps like dinging all day today. So it's like cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. So things are going great. There's so much going on though. Like at this point, I'm like, I have 5 events that I'm going to this year. I'm getting like sponsorship requests every day for things. I'm actually able to sponsor things, which is really great. My first year I closed out at like $20,000, which to me was like huge. This last year I closed out just shy of 100,000, like literally like $3,000 shy of $100,000.
Wow.
So It's been great.
Yo, so Chris, like, I will be honest, like I didn't know like this entire story. And I think I was just telling you that like I'm like selfishly like I love this because I love folk stories. But wow. Okay. So 2 years in the making. Yeah. If anybody is like hearing this 2 years ago, right? I think a lot of us can relate to like, hey, this pandemic hit and things started shifting for me, right? A lot of people can relate to like, I lost the job. I lost, frankly, like I lost family member, like lots of things shifted for a lot of us with the start of this pandemic. And so I think a lot of people can relate to shift. Pandemic equals like shift, right? And so you shifted and pivoted into this business. You're like, hey, I love this. I have this. Let's just do it. Let's just run with it. And in 2 years, less than 2 years, like, again, I just have to, because we have to give people their flowers, right? So in less than 2 years, you are now in 10 stores. You have celebs talking about the products. You have people coming up to you, LeatherDaddy, gone from 20K in the first year, which again is a huge, like, that is a great milestone. 20K to cross in your first year, 100K in your 97K in your second year. Huge, like this is huge. I know I actually sent you some questions that we're going to riff off of, but now I'm going like in a whole nother direction because
that's fine.
You just walk me through. So what I like to do is I like to put myself in the shoes of like people watching this, right? And so if I'm watching this, I'm like, okay, there must have been like something special about you. You must have like been pretty like liquid and capital, like you had a lot of money to make this happen, or, you know, like there's something there where you can just like do 100K in sales in 2 years, right? Or by the second year in business. Can you just walk me through, even at like the highest level, when you reflect back on this like 2-year journey, like what was the thing that you did or didn't do? But like, what was the thing that like made you different? Like, what was the thing that like got us to 100K? Was it like you just had access to all this money? Was it you just knew about all this like marketing stuff? Like, what do you think probably like 1 to 2 like big things that like really propelled you and got us here?
Well, yeah. So first of all, I started the company with just $1,000. That's it. And it wasn't even my money. I asked someone for money. I was like, hey, I have this idea. Can you spot me, like $1,000 just so I could start getting things rolling? And from there, it just kept rolling out of control.
Chris, on that note, I love that you said that. One, started with $1,000, right? I also love that you said I asked somebody for it, right? Mm-hmm. I think there is so much, and I say this to people all the time, but there is so much, and I am holding myself, like, I'm talking to myself here too, but like, there's so much stigma in asking people for things and help, especially like around money, right? Yeah. And I want to say like, there's this line like, closed mouths don't get fed, like, but asking allows for, and I was just reading this quote, it's just like, asking allows for us to receive, right? Asking allows for the abundance to enter. So y'all, like, that was a big thing. Ask, like, you never know, like ask people. Continue. I'm sorry.
And I'm like so bad at asking for help. So like I've always been poor. Like I grew up dirt poor, when I was 19, I lived in my car for like 3 months, like, like all these things, so I didn't come from any, like fancy backgrounds. There wasn't any, actually I dropped out of college like 6 months in because I was just like working so much and like trying to pay bills and stuff and bartending and working in nightclubs and everything like that. And so like what I did was I found my people and I made a product for my people. And I am out there giving them a voice in this giant industry because the skincare industry is huge. There are thousands of brands. I can't even I don't even know like how many there actually are, but there's so many that it's just like getting lost trying to navigate this stuff. So I figured, instead of trying to go down this, like generic path of like, oh, hey, here's some skincare. It's nice. It feels good. I decided to go super sexy and go super fun. And I decided to aim for the people, in like the kink community, the BDSM community, like, freaky people that I like. So, and they ended up just accepting me with open arms, and they've actually just been constantly supporting me. I mean, my returning customer rate is at like 36% right now. And that's people who have been purchasing since day one almost. Yeah. So it's just, I found my people and I honored those people and I gave those people what they needed. And I didn't care what the other people wanted.
That's it. I love that. I love
Be
that.
true to
And
yourself.
literally, right? And I talk to founders and entrepreneurs like so often, right? And I ask people all the time, like, who's the persona? Like, that's one of my like favorite. If somebody had to do like a what do they call it, a roast on me, like somebody would definitely stand up and be like, who's your persona? Like, because that is like one of my favorite questions to ask, right? And so many people, so many entrepreneurs, and I give people grace here, but like so many entrepreneurs will tell me like, oh, well, it can be for this person, and it can be for this person, and it can be for this person, or it's like for men, right? And I'll always make this joke like, okay, it's for men. But I have a brother, right? I have a brother that is 29 years old. There's a young man seemingly walking down the street. I have a neighbor. I have my dad. I have my grandfather. Those are 5 different, completely different personas, right? Like, who are we actually like talking about? And I will start navigating down this conversation. And so often, like, people are scared to frankly like niche down, right? People are scared to say like, well, like, let me like limit this to this specific like persona. And so I'm so excited that you did that. And I hope if you're taking anything away from this, y'all, like, please niche down, niche down. And so often we can find those niches in us. Like, all of us are like special and have some like really special, like unicorn qualities, like some things that make us awesome. I will also say generally there's other people like us like out there in the world, right? And so we can make products for us, and there are other people, probably thousands, hundreds of thousands of other people out there that would enjoy those products, right?
Oh, definitely.
Chris, I heard you say something along the lines like, I found my people. How, again, at the highest level, like, how did you find those people? Like, how did you find your people?
So I actually made this skincare line for them because I was looking and I was thinking, there's nothing really out there in this huge industry. There's nothing out there for to have fun for the leather people. And, the thing about people in leather is they typically like they don't wear fragrances, don't wear, deodorant, things like that. It's just like a part of the lifestyle. And so I was honestly taking a risk because these people might not like it, but I made a product and I made a fragrance that is just like out of this freaking world, first of all. And everybody that smells it is just instantly, they're just hooked and they fall in love with it because they almost like, they smell their own experience in it. So I'm hitting them right here where it's making them happy. It's hitting the dopamine hard because that's what they want and that's what they need. And instead of, trying to branch out to, everybody use my skincare. I would love that. If everybody bought my skincare, that would be wonderful. But I have enough support from a giant community. I mean, the last event I went to, there were 3,000 people there. And don't worry, completely vaxxed, masked, because I was freaking out about that part. It was crazy. But it was, 3,000 of my people. And I made like almost $10,000 at that one event. And I also got 2 new wholesale clients. I got one in Los Angeles and one in like Kansas City. So like, all over the place. And just because I made these people feel a part of something. I created community.
And I have done like maybe 2 or 3 videos this year around community and the value of it. Right. I think that, and now this is taking us on a whole another conversation, but I truly think that brands that will win, and we were just joking around the metaverse before this call, but brands that will win, especially into whatever we're headed into, or the web is headed into over the next couple of years, brands that are going to win are going to be the brands that have built community. Right. Yeah. Like we have articulated a ton in this conversation. There are so many skincare lines and product, like it's a huge market, right? There's so many boutiques. There's so many, like in any industry, it's like so many of these things, right? Yeah. The brands that are going to continue to win, especially with like Gen Z and millennials becoming like the core market of buyers over the next few years, are going to be the brands that are building community. I was talking to my little sister recently, and she had this like it was over the holidays. She had this Christmas list, and she is in Gen Z. And this Christmas list was like all these brands that like on their Instagrams are only like 10,000 followers, 7,000 followers, but like these niche communities. And like, this is all like the teenagers like wanted to be a part of, right? Yeah. Those Gen Zers, and like she's 17, those Gen Zers are going to be one of the main people active in the economy and shopping in 3 to 5 years, right?
Oh yeah.
And so understanding like, what do they care about? They don't care about all the followers or what the select, like all the big things. They care about like, where are my people and like, where's the community with this brand?
Exactly. Right? Exactly.
So I love that. I want to take us back to something you said too, around like finding your people. So you talked about like, I went to this event, like we have all these people. You actually made this comment, like, I would love for like everyone to like wear my products. On the point of like niching down, I think the part that scares people a lot is like, well, sure, it could be for this person, but like this person might like it, this person might like it, this person might like it, right? This can be just like a general yes or no question, but I know you have your ideal persona. Do people outside of your ideal persona shop with you?
So the second that people smell it, they fall in love with it. Everyone. I did like, over the summer, I did a few like outdoor pop-up events, just really small things, maybe, like 200 people max, like the whole day. Excuse me. And it was pretty much no one from my little avatar persona was there really. So that's when it came to me just telling my story, telling them, hey, I started from nothing. Like, this is something that I created during a time when the world is literally crumbling around us. And they fell in love with that story, which brought them into my little world. And then from there, I got to actually guide them through and sell the products, ask them about them. I got to know people, and now I probably have maybe like 40 or 50 regulars, like just here in Albuquerque that constantly order my stuff. They come by and pick it up. They're always asking, hey, where are you going to be at next time? Like, do you have this? Do you have that? Like, they text me, they've added me as a friend on Facebook. Like, these people have become a part of my community, like without even, I wasn't even trying to get them. But I mean, that. Whenever you have like a good product, and I believe in my products 100%. I make everything myself. I'm my only employee. I do everything from the graphic designing to the ordering everything. I mix everything. I fill everything. I ship everything. Everything, all this stuff. In fact, I just got to the point where I could hire some digital marketers. God, I'm so happy I could. It takes this huge weight off my shoulders. Really happy with that. But yeah, it's just like, I don't know, people fall in love with you if you let them.
Yes. Like, so many tweets. Like, you were saying so many tweets. I also wish my dog was that well trained where I could like snap and shut it off.
I'm actually putting it on mute. So it's
I was like, wow, you have to teach me that after we get off this call, because my boy, like, he's a man of his own. Cool. The last part I want to actually like bring up here is a huge part. And if anybody is watching this, I try to call out key takeaways that I would be taking away as like a brand owner, right? One thing that I'm hearing a theme of a lot is getting to know your customers. Chris just articulated, like, they were going to pop up, like still do, right? Meeting in person, like talking to people, right? Get to know the people that you are serving, like ask them questions, like understand who they are. Because like, if we're going to continue making, and Chris, like, I have the products and they are not lying when they say like, these are amazing products. Like, you are not going to make amazing products. So let me just tell you this, if you don't get to know your customers, right? And so please, like meet them, like talk to them, go to pop-ups. I know we talk about tons of things like digitally, but like, do things in person. Go talk to people, even if it's not like at your target pop-up, like, or your target people aren't going to be there. Like, get to know those people. Go show up and talk to them. Yeah. Exactly. I wanted to just highlight that because I think that's a great point. Chris, I have two like last questions for you because I know we're about to, or I think we're over time. But one question is, so you've had some great success over the past 2 years, right? What is like your number one focus? Is just like somebody that is nosy and curious. What's like the number one focus for you in 2022?
Well, really, it's just, excuse me, trying to get like more like TikTok content out. Because right now, I mean, I didn't realize just like how like what a great like free tool TikTok was. I did not realize that. And then I start looking, excuse me, there's a great company, it's a Ginger Blast, if you know the Randalls from all these things, they are killing it with the TikToks. And I'm just watching them and I'm like, okay, this is working for them. They're getting more and more sales. So I'm trying to be like them and just get straight to those TikToks and make it happen. I have some content working, and it's work, folks. It's work. It's a lot of work. But once you do it, you could eventually get to the point where you hire somebody to do the work.
Yep.
Put in the time now. Don't be afraid.
Yeah. I love that you bring that up, Chris, because I don't think that's articulated. Like, y'all, this is work, right? We just heard Chris has gone from 0 to 100K in 2 years, as you heard, by themselves, right? Like, it's work. It is work. What keeps you actually like pushing to do this? This is like super ad hoc, but like, it's hard work. Like, what keeps you going?
Every day when I wake up and I see sales for something that I created, I mean, like, something that I made is in people's bathrooms, something that I made, like people are excited about. They're giving as gifts to their friends and family. It's just, there's this outpour of community support, and that's what keeps me going. Because so many people are just like, I want you to be so successful. And, I add that to all of my, pretty much like all of my customer service things, all of my interactions with that. I am, profusely thanking everyone. I'm like, thank you so much for, supporting me in my dream and that. And it's just, I don't know, just bringing people in. I'm just feeling great. It feels so good. That just keeps me going. The people, it's the people, I feel. So yeah, I love that. And I can relate to it like so much. Awesome. I know we are over time, but I have one final question for you that I like to ask everybody. I have 2 questions. So sorry. Is it okay if we do like fine. 2 extra minutes? Yeah.
Okay.
I'm loving this.
One question that I did message was just like, if I am somebody watching right now, right? I have a brand, maybe even like in skincare, and I'm like, wow, like this story is amazing. What's just like 3 kind of like pieces of advice you would give to a founder just starting out, or at least just trying to like start to make something of this idea or product that they have?
One of my favorite little bits of advice that I live by every day, it's pretty much my mantra. It's 3 words. It is, you are enough. That right there. You. Don't try to be someone you're not. Go out there and be you. Be true to yourself. And then with that same exact thing, be true to your customers. Be true to your people. Find your people. And I guess the third thing would be have fun. Like, to be honest, have fun, because if you're not having fun, it becomes like another job, and you could go get one of those and somebody else can worry about all the day-to-day stuff. So like, have fun, because you're the boss. You get to have fun. You're calling the shots in this. Like, keep it up and just do it. Just don't lose hope. Yeah.
I love that. I was actually just DMing a teammate, Shannon. Shannon and I were just talking about this. And we were just like, life is supposed to be fun. Like, it is supposed to be fun. And so like, I know like it can be hard work, and it can also be like, okay, this is fun. Like, I can make some fun out of this. Before we jumped on, I was telling Chris, like, I just adjusted like my office because I have to keep my work fun. Like, it has to be fun and exciting for me. It should be. So I love that. Okay. Last question, then I will let you go. If there is somebody that's actually like watching this and thinking about working with us and my team, what would you say to them?
Don't think, just do. Like, go for it. I've learned so much in the Panther program. Learned so much in it. I'm like still trying to like learn the stuff that I thought I'd learned, because there's so much information and so much content, and they're just so like, they are there for you at all times. I could, pick up my phone, send a message to a question that I'm like, I just can't figure this out. And bam, they're on it like that. And it's, Digital Kairos and Kasey actually care about the people. They're there to serve, and that's the people that you want to be with.
I appreciate that so much. And we do. Like, we care. I care. So thank you. with that, like I am so excited to continue serving you throughout 2022 and hitting some phenomenal goals. Chris, like I appreciate you and your time and your energy like so much. And I am sure this has helped and will continue to help as people watch replays of this, like people out there, right? And this is like what we do it for. So thank you so much for your time today. And I'm excited to keep growing in 2022.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Of course. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, yes.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.